All right, welcome back on Newsnight. Now, we want to examine the path towards achieving the solution for the crisis. With me in the studio right now, the founder of the Rights Foundation, Mr. Yusmadi Yusoff. Hello, Yusmadi.
Yeah, Isa.
Yes, all right. First of all, I would like to ask you what do you think is a solution to this never-ending genocide?
First of all, we have to recognize the fact that genocide is not a straightforward or simple crime. It is complex. But having said so, we must remember that this region especially, we have a very good track record in solving genocide issues in Cambodia, for example, during the era of Pol Pot. So we have a very good track record whereby we managed to solve the problems until today. But at the same time, we must remember that Malaysia carry a very good track record in providing assistance in Bosnia, providing assistance for, I still can remember that even at a very early stage, the Rohingya who came to Malaysia, studied in the international Islamic universities, and so on and so forth. But more importantly, all these things were achieved when we are talking about the old ASEAN. ASEAN without any form of human rights mechanism. Now we are talking about ASEAN with ASEAN Human Rights Mechanism. We have ASEAN Intergovernmental Commissioner for Human Rights. We have Article 14, which demands a member of the state to promote and protect human rights. And now we know, as a matter of fact, that human rights was given a commitment at the domestic level. We have countries like Malaysia, we have Suhakam, we have Indonesia. So for me, while we are talking about, we have good track record of human rights, we are talking about a new mechanism emerge. So for me, now the challenge now is the issue of leadership. So for me, the issue of leadership is very much the issue of to what extent we see Rohingya or genocide issue as our main priority. So I believe Malaysia, and we have Syed Hamid Albar, who's been appointed as a special envoy to Myanmar to talk about Rohingya. So I believe we have everything in place. So now is a question of how to put everybody together and come together and collaborate and see how we can push the issue to the higher level and get it solved on the ground.
All right, Yusmadi, speaking of leadership, let's say you're right, and let's say there is a solution. Do you think the government will have the political will to go through with it?
Who imagined that Malaysia can be a person where Prince Sihanouk flew all the way from Phnom Penh to Kuala Lumpur to talk about solutions of Pol Pot conflict in, if I'm not mistaken, late 70s or early 80s. And we did it. And now we see that before Rohingya, there's no more genocide happen in this region. Now we have Rohingya. So I believe now with the new, I would say, a top-down, bottom-up approach, which we know in this region nowadays, with the advancement of social media, whatever happens in certain country, it can be easily known within a split second. So I believe now what we should do is just a question of, first of all, get everybody united. I have to tell you frankly, it was like last 2 days, I happened to be in a very important meeting to think about how we can unite the Rohingya themselves. Because until today, there are so many NGOs claims that they represent Rohingya, but we don't see where is the united front of Rohingya who can speak with one voice, who can speak with one, I would say, mission, and can be more specific on what they want. So if you ask me, what is the immediate mission? The immediate mission is to save the innocent. So for me, to save the innocent, it is not only about fundraising, it's not only about giving goodies. For me, it's about how our top leadership here to call for urgent meeting and to tell that Myanmar, look here, Myanmar now under one very established regional grouping known as ASEAN, the most stable regional grouping in the world, despite so many challenges we have. And they have to understand that the survival of Myanmar actually depends on the stability of the region.
Right.
And that thinking must be forged by the top leadership to the current leadership, Aung San Suu Kyi, who benefited a lot from our effort.
Right. Just finally, and very, very briefly, you know that Malaysia has a seat in the UN Security Council. Do we have prerogative to do something about it?
Okay, I understand perfectly what is Human Rights Security Council. Yes, we can, I would say, push the agenda. But more importantly, I see from another angle, Malaysia share a very strategic relationship with a superpower like China, America. So I believe, as much as we see Myanmar or ASEAN as a strategic area for economic growth, but we have also to tell China, to tell America, or even for that matter to Russia, well, they have to play their role. They have to ensure that this region stable again. And I believe what Aung San Suu Kyi, as a foreign minister or de facto president, is doing now, she's been going around for a roadshow to ask for investment to come to Myanmar. So I believe human rights has to come together with business expectation. So I believe China, and I think Malaysia, I think now I've seen a very good relationship between Kuala Lumpur and Beijing. I think Prime Minister Najib should have a better advantage to persuade China to play a role to stop these genocides crisis in Myanmar.
All right, thank you so much for your thoughts on this issue. That was the founder of the Rights Foundation, Mr. Yusmadi Yusoff. Always a pleasure to have him.